Hi everybody, it's Danny here from Angel Handmade Papercraft. Today I am working with a stamp and die set from Honeybee Stamps. This is the Shine On, and I'm also bringing in a sentiment set called Happy Birthday, which is also from Honeybee Stamps. So I'm stamping out these nail polish bottles using some Memento Tuxedo Black onto some Express-It blending card, and I'm just using my Lawn Fawn acrylic block to do that. I've also got the matching dies there, so I've cut those down using my wire cutters and I've just ran them through my Big Shot just using those dies. I've got some glitter cardstock here that I'm going to run through the little bows, and I'm also going to use that for the bottom of the nail polish bottles. So I've stamped the nail polish bottles onto the back so I can make sure that when I fussy cut them, I'm just cutting out the bottom section, and I'm just using my EK Success Cutter B scissors to do that. So just fussy cutting that out. I'm not adhering anything just yet because I do want to Copic color those nail polish bottles. So just carefully trimming all of those down and then running the bows through. So that's all of those. I'm going to stamp out the birthday sentiment. I'm just using my Misty stamping tool. I've got some vellum here and I'm just going to stamp that sentiment on using some ink on 3 embossing ink. I will prepare that vellum beforehand, and I'm going to be using some Ranger ink superfine white embossing powder and heating that with my heat tool to melt the embossing powder. Just bringing in my heat tool, getting it all nice and hot, making sure all my embossing powder is put away, and I'm very carefully melting this embossing powder. I'm using my EK Success Cutter B scissors to carefully fussy cut the sentiment down. So once I've got this sentiment all cut out, I'm going to work on colouring up these nail polish bottles. So I'm just using some of my Copics to do that. I will have them all listed on my blog, but I'm using T1 and T4 and the Zero Colourless blender. So mainly just working on the tops of the bottles and the bottom piece, because obviously the body part you're not going to see. Blending all of that out. Making sure it's all nice and smooth. And then I'll start popping all the layers on. So I'm using some Helmer acid-free liquid adhesive and adhering all of those bodies on, and then we'll move on and add the little bows. So adhering all of those down. And trying to figure out a layout. I did end up only using 2 of those bottles, but I will make another card using the leftover. I'm going to stamp out some of the little bows that go on top of the glitter bows onto some vellum, and I'm going to add some Copic markers to the back of them just to keep that colour all in play. Just embossing them the same way that I did with the sentiment, and then I will cut them out. So melting all of that down, and we're just going to run it through using the bow die. Alright, so I've got a couple of those cut out ready to go. Like I said, colouring with the Copic markers on the back, so you're actually not going anywhere near the embossing. And just adhering those down. I'm only adding adhesive to the centres so that I can pop up the 2 sides. I've got the Paper Rose Jumbo Numbers. I'm going to run them through my Big Shot using some American Crafts cardstock. And then we're just going to start working out the layers. I decided I was going to go in and add some details to these numbers, so I'm just using a white Uniball gel pen to add some dotted details and the TH to the side. Adhering everything now down to my Kucha Creations card base. We are just about done with the card. I'm just very carefully adding a little bit of adhesive just behind the embossing, and I'm just using a cotton tip just to blend that out a little bit so that it is on all of the areas but not much, so you can still see it. Using some acrylic blocks to hold that down and making sure that it adheres nice and flat. Just while I'm adding the finishing touches, and I just noticed a couple of areas that just needed a little tiny bit more adhesive, so I just used the cotton tip for that as well. So it's all dry. I thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love for you to do that and come back and check out more of my videos. See you all soon. Bye.